Ladies and gentlemen, listeners from all across the world and all the hails, my name is James Harlot and I have returned to Wretched City Radio, 606 FM. Yes, I know. Granted, I've been gone for some time. I've been handling, let's just say I've been working on my education. Now that I've returned, I have an interesting interview scheduled for today, one which I know will delight the best of y'alls. Harry Lime, a film and radio character born from the imagination of Orson Welles, who was shot beneath a sewer underneath Vienna. Harry Lime, that is, not Orson Welles. Okay, maybe it's not really an interview, maybe it's more of a seance, but the voice we are about to hear is special, because it is the voice of a man twice dead. Mr. Lime, I want to get right in. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you. There's a great distance between us, but that has always been the case. If you can hear me, I can hear you. Think of that the next time you hear a recording of this voice. Anyway, this won't take long, will it?
No, do not worry. I understand the logistics are complicated and I will be prompt. My first and possibly my only question will be, what was the best performance you've ever been to, Mr. Lime? And I don't mean one of yours. I mean somebody else's performance that you've attended.
The best performance I've ever been to?
Perhaps not your favorite, but one that you would like to talk about.
It was surreal and enchanting. A sort of voodoo version of Macbeth. Orson Welles was directing. It was like nothing you'd ever expect. Made me think of many escapades I've had in the Caribbean, but I couldn't pinpoint one particular location. I felt a bit of Haiti. It wasn't your ordinary theater, mind you, but a voodoo theater, where the dark magic and the supernatural were at play. As I walked into the theater, I could feel the energy, the excitement in the air. The smell of incense and the sound of drums filled the room, transporting me to a different world. And there, on the stage, was Macbeth, but not as you know it. This was a version infused with the dark arts, with spells and curses, and a hint of danger lurking in every corner. Word on the street was that goats had to be sacrificed in order for the play to proceed. Orson, that madman, somehow got federal funding for the whole endeavor.
Of course he did.
The actors, my dear friend, were something else entirely.
I bet.
They moved and spoke with an otherworldly grace, and their eyes seemed to glow with a forbidden knowledge. I couldn't help but be mesmerized by their performance, by the sheer power and intensity they brought to the stage. It was like nothing I'd ever seen before, and I found myself transfixed, unable to tear my gaze away from the spectacle unfolding before me. And then it hit me like a bolt of lightning. These people, like myself, were so caught up in the moment, so lost in the magic of the theater, that they would pay anything to keep a piece of it forever. And who was I to deny them that?
So you did perform after all.
I began to work my magic.
Of course.
I slipped out of my seat and made my way around the theater, selling little trinkets and charms that I had brought with me. I singled out the folks who didn't know any better. Those with skin like mine, to be exact. To this enchanted audience, they were priceless voodoo relics, imbued with magic and power. Not that they could distinguish my whispers on account of the performance. One could say I was committing sacrilege. In truth, I was living out a dream I had on the solstice.
Oh, I love those.
A dream of ancient relics in which I felt the energy of people and the movement of wealth and art and life. The energy of the god of the thieves, Hermes, whom I commune with nightly, or perhaps the Hawaiian god, Lono. The process was sacred to me.
As it should be, Mr. Lime.
Art is a great lie that tells a deeper truth.
It is.
If those mugs in the theater bought the phony relics off me, it's because they needed a certain magic in their lives. Is it so vile to sell them counterfeit charms? All the witches I've met so far, and believe me, that's quite a few, taught me that magic is all in the eye of the beholder, and illusions can reveal reality. But I digress. Let's just say I made a pretty penny that night, all while enjoying one of the most spellbinding performances of my life. Oh, as for Orson Welles, well, I can't say for sure if I spotted him that night. He's a great husk of a man, you know. Easy to spot because he's always in a spotlight. He cannot move in the shadows quite like me. He feeds on the crowd's attention. I feed on their misplaced trust. Yet we're both artists. and we both put on quite a show when we put our mind to it. Does that answer your question?
I see. That does answer my question, Mr. Lyon, nor would I want to impose myself further on your schedule, which I know is very tight. That being said, there is $100 bill on this table, and I was wondering if you could tell me more about Orson Welles. It is well known that he directed his voodoo version of Macbeth. There's a lot of controversy, spiritual controversies and curses and so forth. Lots of interesting things around that. And after all, he was a white man directing an all-black version of Macbeth. Not something usual in the 1930s. So, did you see him that night? Did you speak to him at all? Do you remember anything else?
His production was great, you know. I've never seen anything like it since. I am far away now, and yet I will perhaps never be entirely gone. I feel that whilst the soul of Orson Welles could ascend upon his death to his good God, mine is meant to be pestered forever by the questions of the curious who prefer to use their time. Shockingly to me, might I add, in pursuit of ancient fictions rather than contemporary wealth. Like yourself, Mr. Harlot. Have you ever thought about your own authenticity? Are you real, Mr. Harlot? What is reality, anyhow? Allow me to give you an example. The $100 bill you have set on the table is useless to me now, and yet I very much crave it still. There's probably some cosmic irony in this. Do you understand my predicament now, Mr. Harlot? Art is a great lie that tells a deeper truth. Like this interview. It's all lies, you know. I'm not really here. I haven't been here in a while. I used to be a spirit possessing an actor. Now the actor is gone too.
So what remains?
What remains?
What's left?
I'm possessing figments of the imaginations of audiences, ghosts in machines, or whatever you're using to channel me back up. So let go now, James. Allow me to go back to what I was doing before, whispering in the lonely ears of all thieves, or at least those who read Macbeth.
Thank you, Mr. Lyman. I'm afraid the Dark Enchantress wants me to leave her tent, and thus the interview would have to end. I bid you luck. I will donate this $100 bill to your charity of choice. Was it a monastery, I believe? Oh. The $100 bill is gone. Okay. Was it you, Harry? Or was it the witch? Charlatans or ghosts? Or perhaps a bit of both? Right, listeners. Well then, let's return back to our radio coverage for today. In other news, the sheriff decided to jump over buildings, screaming that he has learned how to fly. The sheriff's office has not issued an official statement, but...
Harry Lime returns in just a moment.